Hi, this is Angie from Knitwegian, and I'm going to show you how to knit 1/4 right cross with double wrap. First, I'll demonstrate how to do this cable with a cable needle and then how to do it without. I'll also be demonstrating first with the English style, or called the throwing style, and then I'll demonstrate in the Continental knitting style, or picking. So feel free to look in the description below this video for the timestamp if you want to skip straight to a demonstration without a cable needle or in the Continental knitting style. And excuse the cicadas in the background. It's beautiful. I love hearing it, but hopefully it's not interfering too much with the video. All right, so here we are at the cable section, and this is the stitch that will be crossed over to the right. So what we do first is slip 4 stitches onto the cable needle and hold that at the back. Knit the stitch and now we'll be knitting off the back cable needle. So knit 3 from the cable needle, one, 2, 3, and then this 4th stitch we'll be making that double wrap stitch or elongated stitch so that we can slip it in the next round. So put the right needle through the stitch, wrap the yarn around twice, pull that through and off the needle, and there you have your crossed over cable stitch. All right, so I'll show that again. Let me just get to the next time I use that in the pattern. Okay, so there are those 4 stitches. I'll slip them onto the cable needle and hold them at the back. Knit that slip stitch. Knit 3. And this final stitch will be that double wrap stitch again. So insert the right needle through that stitch, double wrap the yarn, pull both wraps and the needle through the stitch to finish it off and off the needle. And there's your cross stitch again. And I like that to lie flat. All right. Try and get this stitch marker to stop making a noise on the table. Okay, so now I will demonstrate how this works without a cable needle. Just knit again to the section in the pattern with the cable crossover. All right, so it might be a bit scary to have all those stitches live, but I find that the yarn actually holds quite well. So you might find that, our stitches are quite contained and our movements are quite contained, and the Malabrigo Rios yarn, I find it is quite it holds well. So you might have to take extra care if you're working with a yarn that has that's a bit more slippery, like a lot more silk content. But see how you go, have a look, and yeah, I think it's great because you don't have to worry about carrying a cable needle with you, or if you've lost it, you know, you can still carry on your knitting, and I just think it goes faster too. All right, so there's our slip stitch, which we need to carry over to the side. So what I'll do is I'll insert my right needle into that slip stitch, and I slide these off and support those stitches with my finger in the back there, as you can see. And without moving anything, I've now still got that stitch on the needle. Those 4 stitches are live, and now with this left needle, I'll just be putting that back onto the needle, and there you go, no problem. Put that back onto that left needle and knit through the back loop to keep that flat. I like that to stay flat. You can twist it if you want, you can give it a go, see what you prefer, but that's what I like. Okay, so I'll knit so 1, 2, 3, and the 4th stitch is the elongated one. So double wrap that yarn, pull it through, take that off. All right, let me just demonstrate that one more time. Okay, here, this is the crossover again. So there's our 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the slip stitch that we need to cross over. So insert my right needle through the slip stitch and slide those. I've put my finger behind those 4 stitches, slide those off, and immediately insert your left needle into those next stitches. Oh, of course it won't work now. There you go. All right, and there's your elongated slip stitch that you can pull, place on the left needle, and knit through the back loop. Knit 3, and this one's going to be our double wrap stitch. So insert my right needle, wrap the yarn around twice, pull both wraps and the needle through the stitch and off the needle. Okay, now I'll show the Continental knitting style, which will be a bit fun to watch since I don't really use my Continental style much, let alone with the cables. So please forgive me. You'll see how to do the stitch nonetheless, even though it might be a bit clumsy. Okay, so there we go. Time for our cable needle and Continental knitting. So place those 4 stitches onto the cable needle. And hold that in the back. Oh, get my yarn around that first without getting tangled. Okay, ready to knit now. Knit that slip stitch from the previous round, and now we will knit from the cable needle. So, all right, knit 1, 2, 3, And then this stitch needs to be a double wrap stitch. So insert the right needle through, wrap the yarn around twice, pull the yarn through, both wraps through and the needle through at the same time. Do that again. And off that needle. And there you go. There you have your crossed cable. I'll demonstrate that one more time. Okay, so we're at that section now. So 1, 2, 3, cable needle again. So slide these stitches on the 4 stitches on the right side of the cable section onto the needle, onto the cable needle, and put that at the back. And then knit this slip stitch from the previous round. Now we'll be knitting from the cable needle. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And now this stitch needs to be a double wrap stitch. So insert the right needle, double wrap the yarn, pulling both wraps and the needle through the stitch. To the end, and now I'll show you how to do the same stitch without a cable needle. Okay, so insert the right needle into that slip stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4 into that 5th stitch. And slide these along. And now, without much movement, I've just had to sort of pull my right needle forward so my left needle can get into the stitches, but it's a slight movement, and you can see those stitches aren't moving around at all. As I've taken them off, they stay there, and I'm not making wide movements. Everything else is stable, so I've already automatically gone into that 1st stitch. So pick up that 2nd stitch. I might have to maneuver it with my other finger, but for the most part, when I do it seamlessly without describing it, you can do it in one quick movement. All right, put that drop stitch, or the slip stitch, sorry, on that left needle, and off we go. Just wanted it into the back loop so that that stitch lies flat. There you go, and that's your crossed stitch, but we need to finish the cable. So 1, 2, 3. Now this stitch needs to be the double wrap, so insert the right needle, wrap the yarn around twice, and bring that needle and the wrap through and off the needle. And there you go. Show that one more time. Okay, so that's my slip stitch. It's very handy with this yarn to be able to see, but if not, I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip my right needle underneath that, slip these all off, and pick up those stitches. There we go, nice and easy. Place that one back onto the left needle, knit through the back loop, and knit 1, 2, 3. Now the double wrap stitch, wrap the yarn around twice, pull it all through the stitch and off the needle, and there you have it. Just finish attach that to the end, and then I can show you nicely. And I really recommend, if you haven't tried doing cables or these stitches without a cable needle, it's really worth the little bit of time to learn, because it's much quicker. You could see how much less fiddly it was to just keep my fingers there together and switch things around. It's a very small movement, which is much more efficient when it comes to your knitting, so that's faster, and I don't have to remember to take this anyway. Thanks for watching.